Sudden fall for a guide for far changing tides. When you first start the game, it'll say press any button, so you still won't be able to move for a few seconds. But once you're able to move your character, just start hammering A. Pretty much, you swim faster if you hit A. It's not a hold A. It would have been good if it was. You want to go up because that's blocking your path, but you want to go immediately down so that you can go under the house. We will be doing a speedrun achievement, so this playthrough is that. But at one section in the game, I will be stopping because this game has an interesting feature with its checkpoints, and basically if we stop to do this one achievement, we can go back to the checkpoint and it won't affect the timer, so we can get those two out of the way because they're the two hardest achievements in the game. And then once we've done the speed run, we only have to mop up the miscellaneous achievements we missed. We will be getting all the collectibles during the speed run. That's 7 bowies and 6 stashes, but I will be showing all 7 locations of the stashes, so that way if you miss one, you'll still be able to get one of the others. Now with this, when you go inside, this teaches you the fundamentals of staircases. As you can see, you need to climb them like this. Drag this box to the picture frame there, and then hit the button. If you don't want to risk that, because from there you can hit the button and jump out the window, then by all means feel free to pull it closer to the button and then push it closer to the window. I make a few mistakes in this during my speed run, but I don't mind because it lets you know that, don't think you've got this speed run hanging around your neck and you can't make a single mistake or anything. I make quite a few and I still get it successfully. Ironically, I made a few mistakes that I generally don't make. So when you climb up here, you want to fall down and there'll be a plant. This plant we need, so you want to pick it up. Just drop it in the water, move this box over to the lever, and then jump and grab the lever, and then pull the lever and connect it over to this thing. Then grab the plant again. You don't want to lose that. The plant, like I said, is very necessary for this run through. Carry the plant with you by just holding on to it. So you want to go under that, and there'll be a secret kind of little tunnel here. And when you fall down, just drop the plant. Climb up this ladder, and then go to this lever, push it left, and then grab the hose, that's the thing here, and then jump in. This will drain all the water out of it. There is not a faster way to do this, unfortunately. And then jump and hit the button with your head. Then carry the plant, and then jump into this. This will give you a really cool ability. So for this next bit, you want to jump and climb the stairs, and when you see it flash, just fall back down. Try and fight the water so that you can try and stay in the section, because the water will push you away. That way you can swim straight out. You want to swim over here, and this is where I make one of my first mistakes. I try and jump on this early, but you can't because you have to wait for it. I jumped a little too early and got caught underneath it and pushed down. So just wait for it, and then you won't have to worry about doing that like I did. You want to swim all the way down to this box here and pull it out. Now I don't know if this actually helps or not, but I do it because I feel like it does. If you get under it and push it A, you can push it up faster. I feel like it doesn't do anything, but either way, pull the box so it's under the stairs, and then you can jump under the ladder. Don't know why I call it stairs. But then once you've done that, you want to put the plant inside here, and then you climb up that ladder and then jump from here to get onto the top of the boat, and then jump on this button. It is hard sometimes to stand on it because that's what you actually have to do. Once you do that, you should get an achievement. Cast off. Release the vessel. Push in the button here. This is how you always put the mast up. Then you want to climb the mast. There is a ladder on it, and grab the hook. Take the hook down to where that blue thing is and hook it up. Then you can pull the lever to basically you want to get it so the flag is at the blue point of the string or the rope, because once you do that, it'll pull out another mast and get you way more speed, as you see. And that gets us another achievement. So it begins. That's for leaving the home. Hopefully you're listening to this with the music on, because the music really sells the atmosphere they create in this game. A lot of it I don't actually need to talk. Because a lot of it's just us sailing, but I'll still try and give commentary just to keep you guys entertained, you know. But sometimes I won't be saying anything because I don't really have much to say. So this is where we learn, or where I'm going to teach you the first trick of the game that I discovered. What you want to do is take the mast or the flag down like that, and then climb the ladder and grab the hook, and then don't fall down like I did. As I was saying, grab the hook and then fall down with it, and this will actually let you still go, because those buildings, if we were to hit them, would destroy our mast. It doesn't matter if things get damaged, you can repair them and they're still useful even if they're damaged, just less effective. But this way you can get past that section without any damage. You can even hook it up if you wanted to not hold it. Just don't move it and it'll stay flat like that. There is a bridge coming up that I could easily avoid. I know it's coming up. I know I have avoided it a few times, but for the purpose of the guide, we want to get our mast damaged 10 times. I figured it was easier to get it damaged here because it doesn't slow it down too much, so I just go full bore into it. And as you can see, the smoke, it's damaged. So now we just got to wait till it is actually past, and then we can push it back up. Because we have to repair our ship 10 times for an achievement, which is very easy to get, don't get me wrong, but I deliberately damaged my ship a few times to add to that number, because the storm cannot guarantee that you'll get damaged. I got through the storms pretty unscathed myself. But there are other times I have played and I got through the storm and got like damaged 4 or 5 times, so it's just a flip of the coin really. So I figure create a few extra instances of damage, and then there's less you have to worry about. We will be stopping at a sawmill soon. The sawmill puzzle is very easy and very basic. Once you see the sawmill's entrance there, you just want to drop the sail and don't worry about dropping the mast, because if you're fast enough you should be able to repair the mast, and I plan on redamaging it again. Grab the sled, I guess it is. I'm not entirely sure what it is supposed to be, but pull the lever so that the wood's halfway. Once it's halfway, hit the blue button. It'll cut the wood in half, and then you can pull the wood back to where originally the sled was. Grab the repair box. These have 6 charges in them. When it gets down to 1 charge, they disappear. I would recommend, for the purpose of the guide, to always hold on to it when it's got 1 and not use it. Pull the lever, which will break, so we have to use the repair box to repair it. This is pretty much to teach you how to use them, and this will get you an achievement as well. Fixed it for repairing the lever at the sawmill. So you repair the lever at the sawmill. You want to wait for your ship so you can jump on it. There is no fall damage in this game, so don't be afraid to just jump and fall. It just stuns you for a few seconds, but it's worth it. Now if you're quick, before your ship hits it, you can repair it. And I accidentally knocked it down while I was repairing it, unfortunately. So I push it up to try and get it damaged, and that didn't work. So I push it up again. And I push it up a 3rd time. And once more, and that did the damage. So that's another repair I got. I tried for a 3rd, but I didn't have enough time. It didn't affect time, or it doesn't slow down the game any, so it's worth doing since you have the repair box. Because I had played this a few times. Don't bring the repair box up to the top of the mast, by the way. That's why I just dropped it. But I had done this a few times where I didn't actually use the repair box, and there's another section where another repair box is supposed to show up, but if you have enough uses in the original repair box, which is that one, I'd say that the developers designed it so that you don't need that one, so it doesn't show up. So that's another reason why I wanted to use this repair box as much as possible, so that we are guaranteed for that one to show up. I would really recommend paying attention to the background and like the underwater and stuff, because this game is very awesome. Like right there, that I'm not sure if it's a deer or an elk. It looks like a deer with the horns, but see how awesome that was? Just random animal in the background that really sells the atmosphere. And then you see more in the background if you can see them. Right now we're just letting the wind carry us and keeping it at full speed, so that way we can try and get as fast as possible. this is the section you want to take the thing down. I try and delay taking it down as much as possible to like the last point so that I get carried through further, so that's less further I have to travel at the slow speed. Because those houses are so close that if you had the sails out, that they would get damaged. On the PC, when I played this, a few things happened differently, and I'm not sure why, but on the PC, I'm pretty sure it's because I turned the settings down, because you can change the graphics to medium and stuff, and I did change them to medium and stuff, because I kept having crashing issues on the PC, where the game would crash. So a couple of instances in the game were a bit different. But everything is pretty much the same, so you don't have to worry too much. The main reason I didn't want to damage the sail yet is because we've got 2 uses on the repair, and I wanted to use the second use for a specific damage that I know I'm going to do. Right now it's going to save because we've hit one of the checkpoints. I know this location off by heart. So leave your sail up so it gets hit right here, and that'll damage it. And then you can use your repair box to repair it, and that's another repair done. That'll leave you with 1 repair if you've been following where I've damaged it. So you can put that away for now. For this part, we have to actually wait. We can't go any faster than it's allowing us. But we will be jumping over that tanker when it gives us enough distance to do so. You can already see the box that we have to push in the water as soon as you jump over. There is a tactic to getting over a little bit earlier if you let go of the box and do what I do, but the thing is, I failed it. You've got to lean on the left side so it's up on the right a bit, then run and jump. But if that doesn't work, just pull it closer like this and then jump over. Normally I get it, but of course the time I'm making a guide, it's like, no, you can fail that. So you want to climb this ladder and you want to put this, grab this object and then basically put it inside the furnace, and then you want to jump on this to get the furnace going. This will get you an achievement, Fireman, for lighting the furnace. Load the firebox and light the train. Climb the ladder on the right once it hits to that point, and then pull this lever and all the way to the right. Then you want to jump on this ladder and climb up and go inside to the building. There'll be 4 pieces of scrap, so we'll be carrying one of them. You want to put one on this, well, throw one over there first by jumping and using the grab button, and then put 2 up here on these hooks by jumping and pushing the grab button. Then hit the button 3 times. That will send all 3 to the ship. Grab the one you threw, and then we can head to the ship. You don't have to wait for them. By the time you get to the ship and put it in, they'll pretty much be already in, so you can just hit the button with your head, the blue button, and then jump on the thing to start the furnace. Once you get close enough, I like to stop it about here, jump on the ladder, and then move the lever to the left. This will save you a bunch of time and you won't have to use another resource. And then just keep fanning the flames. This will pull the thing that it's just attached to the train that way, and that's the way we want to go. You don't have to do this next part, you can wait for the train to stop, but I like to jump on the ladder now, and then jump onto the next ladder and onto the roof, and then from there jump off the train, because you can make it to the other 2 pieces of scrap that are down here before the train has even reached the destination. And then from there you can take one of the items, jump on the train, and then you have one item on there before the train is even finished getting to its destination. And then you only have to get one more item from that spot. Like I said, it only saves a couple of seconds, so it's not worth doing if you don't want to do it. You can just wait for the train and then do it. Now with the items, we want to throw them over here. Try not to throw too many in the way of the doorway, because you have to go through that doorway. As you can see, one is still at the top because I wasn't worried. You want to place them where I'm placing them, all the objects. Not how I'm placing them, you just want to place them there. It doesn't matter how you place them, because when we hit this button, the door on that side is going to open, and that'll allow these items to fall through. They will land on our ship, and then we've got some free resources that we've taken from the level or the puzzle. So it's less resources we have to worry about, but we need all the resources we can get for reasons I will go into later in the game. I try and avoid spoilers, so that way you're as surprised as you can be about what happens next without talking too much about stuff. I will mention certain key elements that will be important later, but not actually say what they are until we're there, so you don't have to think about those things until later. I think it's much better to do it that way. But now that we've got all those objects, we want to take them and move them over here. With the fluffy pillows, they're very annoying. For some reason, they don't let you throw them. So be aware of that. I kept trying to throw it. And then the other one I kept trying to throw as well. But objects like this metal scrap box are very useful. They will be thrown when you do the throw trick. Be careful not to land on the button, because it will pretty much want you to do it. And so it sort of like slows you down for a few seconds, as you saw what happened to me. I know this is a lot of effort, but it's worth it. It'll save you so much time later. It's one of those things you use to prepare yourself. Once you get the last object there, we can hit the button. The reason we couldn't do anything with them yet is because we have to hit the button in order for this next part to actually activate. Otherwise there would have been no room in the ship. Because as you can see now, we just opened a new area of the ship by installing the engine module. We've now got the engine section. And as you can see, without all the items we've got, they've only given you 1 scrap. So now we've got all this stuff from the puzzle, that's extra scrap for us. They only supply you with 1 to get you through this section and to the next section. Whereas with all this extra stuff, we can hold on to this for later. You want to put it all down here and on these hooks. I was moving the box and the flour out of the way because you do not sorry about that. You do not want the flour to be used yet. You want to hold on to the flour, and we're saving the repair box, as I said. So that way I didn't accidentally use the flour, I put it over here. Same with the power box. Now we can grab this object and light the furnace. As you can see up the top, the lever is in the not move position, so you have to jump over onto the ladder and then hit the switch so that it moves it. If you hit it all the way to the right, it'll move faster, but the thing is, it's got two levels, the lower level and the faster level. I mention it because later there will be a reason that you need to know that. It's also got a stop function, that's what it was in, and a reverse function. So it's a slow right and then a fast right, and we're on the fastest right by pushing it all the way right. The thing on the other left is a hose that has water in it that you can actually change, and it also vacuums. Again, that will be important later, but the hose itself is important because the hose you can use to cool down the engine, which is that circular thermometer kind of thing on the right, and you can also use it to put out the flames of the fire, saving you scrap. But for now, we've got no wind, and I'm sorry for this long-winded talk, but we've got no wind, so we have to use the engine. But you don't want to get it to the blue section. The blue section you want to avoid. We just want to get it to the furthest of the white section. And we have reasons for that again, that I'll go into later, of why we don't want it in blue yet. If you put it in blue, you just make the engine hotter at the moment, and you just cost yourself more fuel because it costs more to use it, so it's not worth it. Hit that button on your left and that will put one of the items on the hook into the furnace. That's what that's for. I really disliked the button, to be honest though, because 9 times out of 10 I wasn't trying to hit the button, and I'd be jumping over something or jumping into that area and I would hit the button. I really would have preferred... I understand why they made it a button, you know, it's more efficient, it's faster, but I really wish they had made it just a switch. You know, you pull the switch, puts an object in, and that way you couldn't accidentally hit it. But, you know, that's a me issue. I doubt many people would jump at it like I did. Okay, so this is the first of the 7 bowies we have to hit. So you want to ram it, basically. Never go underneath them. Not that we can at the moment, but you want them to ram so that that happens. Then turn your engine off. I go to turn the engine off, and because it locks you here to show you the radar is that blue thing. I also got fire warning for dousing the engine by accident. The engine is that thing that I told you with the thermometer, but you want to put out your fire here because we're stopped at the moment and we don't want to waste our fuel. You may as well cool down the engine while you're at it, so that way you get that achievement. Go down here and hit that button, and then go down here. I really wish that as well had been a lever, so that way you didn't have to keep hitting the button. It was so annoying. Go down here and grab some scrap. There will be 4 items to collect. Because as you can see, it closes, and then you have to re-hit the button. I really wish that had just been a lever so that you could pull it and it stays open. Again, it's a me issue though. This game is really great. I just had a couple of flaws that annoyed me. Gonna just keep diving down and collecting the scrap. Like I said, there's 4 items. We've got 2 left now. There's a reason we're collecting all this scrap but not using much of it. It'll come into play later. You'll see we'll empty out of it pretty quickly when we do get up to that area. And you'll be quite shocked because you'll think you have a lot, but you don't. So we got these 4 pieces of scrap. What you want to do now is go to the front end where I'm going, and you can actually leave this part of the ship this way. Grab this item, it's another piece of scrap for us. That's 5 pieces of scrap, and then jump down. You'll see a little thing you can interact with here by pushing the grab button and then moving it. As soon as you see the object start to fall like that, let go, and then you can just go straight up and back into your ship. By the time you get the engine started, it'll fall down enough that you can get past it without having to worry. I took an object with me so I could just put it in rather than hit the button. So now we're on our way again. Again, there's no wind, so yeah, just stick to the power basically like this. Don't go into the blue like I said. You can tell there's no wind because the flag is in the down position. If it was on the right and it was moving a little bit, that means there's wind. So with no wind, we just have to rely on the engine to get us through this section. Trying to use as little scrap as possible. So now we've got wind, so we can douse the engine. I realised I couldn't go that way yet, so go down the bottom and climb up the stairs like that and set your mast up. Now I wanted to show you what kind of damage, and I do use my repair box for this because I said screw it. You can do this and do it as well if you want, or you can save your repair box. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. There is enough repair boxes that I get in the game that this one you can get rid of if you want. But I wanted to show you what happens when you damage the sail. So this rock face here is actually really close to the sail, the one that's coming up, and you'll see what happens when you smack across them. Just to show you why I use the trick. And as you can see now, it's broken. You gotta push this in. And either way, you'd have to do this trick that I know. Or if you didn't know about it, you'd turn on the engine and you'd move that way. But using this, you can get past it. But see how much it destroys your sails and stuff? It's just not worth it. Once you get past it, you can go down, grab your repair box if you did what I just did, and then use the last repair on it. When the light is on, that's when the mast is up. I should mention that, and I should have mentioned it earlier. I am sorry. But you at least know now. Better late than never, right? Don't worry, that falling rock cannot hit us. It was a cool effect though, I really did like they did that. And don't worry, I didn't cause it by hitting my sail against the rocks, I swear. This section you just want to let the wind carry you, so that way we don't have to waste scrap. You want to pull down your sail and then the mast for this section, so that way you don't damage it. And then we can just go to the front of the ship because the current is now going to be doing all the work. You can put your mast up if you want for something to do, and you know, do it that way, but like I said, the current is strong enough to pull you, so you don't have to actually do anything for this section. It's literally just standing on your ship, admiring the scenery that they created. Really good scenery, I might add. Combine this with the music and it's really good. So this part is where we're going to have to call our ship insurer to get a tow because we've just beached. Literally there's nothing you can do right now. Maybe go on the sun deck, have a little bit of a sunbathe. Oh no, get the hell out of here. Bail. Just be aware that is a joke. No matter where you are, you will wake up here. You don't actually have to run away. I just did it for a bit of fun. No matter where you are in the ship, you will wake up right here. In the water, there will be 2 pieces of scrap for you to collect that you can put in your ship to add to our glorious collection of scrap. The fastest way I found to do it was to go into the manhole. Rather than climb the ship and then go that way. Then you want to hit the button again, you want to go all the way down. This is the repair box I was talking about. If you have repairs still left on your repair thing that is more than the amount of damage done to your ship, then this won't appear. Just knocked my flower in there. So you want to repair this object first. And then you want to repair these objects. See, and that'll give you a few repairs. I think that was about 3 or 4. Pick up the flower, because I knocked it in. Hopefully you didn't knock it in like I did. Hit the button to put another object in. And start the furnace, because as you can see we've got no wind again. So it's another section we have to use the furnace. And just so you're aware, I'm not telling you, when I tell you not to use the furnace, I'm not telling you for no reason. There is a reason. And there is no difference to the furnace and the speed of the sail. So when you are using the sail, you are going just as fast as if you were using the furnace. So that's another reason why it's better to use the sails for this starting sections of the game. I really like that door cave entrance looking thing there. I really wish that had been something cool that you could have gone to. Remember, don't let it be on blue. You just want it on the white. See, what will happen sometimes when you jump on it, it gets these like orange sparks. It's some kind of bug and you have to get off it and wait a few seconds, and then you can jump on it and it'll let you use it again. See? I don't know why it does that. It's like it registers that it's broken without it being broken. Something like that. Yeah, the only issue I had with the hose as well was that the fact that you can't control when the hose fires the water. I wish they had have added a Y button, so when you pick up the hose and you hit Y, then the water comes out, because sometimes I'd go to douse and cool the engine core and I would get the fire in the engine and then my engine is turned off and I would have to light the fire again. And for certain sections that's very annoying when you're relying on it. The reason I'm zooming out right now is to look for the next section that we're up to. You can zoom out with LT, and I think it's LT, and zoom in with RT, but it might be the opposite buttons. And it's very handy to do both, because sometimes you may want to zoom in to see exactly what you're doing, and other times you may want to zoom out to see the area a bit more. We're about to get up to the next section. This is one of those rare sections you want to dash your fire to, by the way. But this is one of those rare sections where we have to use the mast, believe it or not, to climb up there. I think we do that 2 or 3 more times. It was very smart of them to do that as a design. Who would think to make your mast as well a solution to get up to an area? You want to climb the ladder, and when we get into this room there will be a box at the end which you want to pull and put under the ladder right there. So once you climb the ladder, you want to grab the music box. Throw the music box by jumping and using the grab button. Then hit the button and climb the I guess it's a dam by pulling the lever left. If you hit that button, it gets your gets it back into position if it's not in position. You pull the lever here right, and that'll move this over. You can let go when it's leaning against it like that. You don't need to wait for it to actually click into place. It will do that on its own. Then you can pull the lever and go back up. Yes, those noises are coming from the game, by the way. So you want to come over here and you'll see something you've gotten to know in this game, the repair boxes. Grab the repair box, fall down, and repair the lever. Now grab the lever and push it right. And then we'll be getting another achievement, but I want you to pay attention to the murals behind you. That's what we're viewing, the ancient murals. Gives you a bit of background information on the game and stuff. So once the door opens, we can head left, and this is the bit where you want to head left and then straight right, and then push this button in using your body. We can't move while it's doing this. We have to wait for this to get into place, then we can continue on. The door in front of us is closed until that point, so for now we're just sitting here waiting. Now that the door's opened, or well, when the door opens, we can jump over to the right lever, pull that one, until you see the light up the top on your right turn on. That's when you've got it enough and you can let go. See? And then we want to go over to this left lever and pull that one left, and the light will turn on. The reason we do the right one first is because the left one won't stay on until you've done the right one. This will get us another achievement, all patched up. That's for attaching the new stone module. I should mention when you pause the game, it pauses your speedrun timer too. That's why some of the times you see me pause it to show you guys the achievements, so it doesn't affect the time. The game will still run if you have the guide menu up and don't pause it. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. Again, I am sorry. There's so much to remember, but put your repair box there and plant the flower in the planter. This will get you cultivating, which is for planting the flower in the vessel. Go and grab the hose. Again, this is where I wish the Y function was available, because spraying water everywhere is just annoying. And jump on this to water the plant. This will get you rooting for you for watering the flower. We have to do this a few times, and you also want to hit that button for the sunroof to open. Climb up here, and if your music box landed where I did, you'll be moving it out of the way. We want to go down here and hit the hook. The music box will come into play in a minute. I'm just not worried about it at the moment. I'm focusing on doing this. Hook the thing onto the salvage crate. This is our first salvage crate, and this is where we get to learn how to use the winch. I find climbing these stairs easier than the right one, but the choice is yours. I fell back down because I missed the jump. Don't do that. But you want to jump, and then you want to pull the left lever so that it pulls up the salvage. Now if you're quick enough, you can fall back down and miss the salvage crate, because otherwise it'll pull you back up, and go down here and hit the button. If you're not quick enough, it's fine, and it's only a few seconds I'm saving. Pushing this button in with your body can be a bit difficult in the water, but once it's done, it will open the door for you. Then you just want to climb this and collect the salvage that you just dropped. I usually put it straight in because, you know, light the furnace. Again, there's no wind, so we have to use the furnace. We've got wind now, so I'm putting the furnace out. Now take your music box, this is why I said it come into play a little bit later. And now you might not need to do this, I find it helps, but you put your music box next to the flower, because I figured it was another thing that helps the flower grow. I've got no proof, and I can't, you know, say I have evidence and all this. It's just a theory that I have, because plants grow better when you talk to them and stuff, so I figured maybe the game developers designed it to grow a bit better if you had a music box near it, because there is a couple of music boxes in the game, which is very hard to find, and that is one of them. So it's your call if you do it or not. You can just make it extra scrap if you want, but I kept it near the flower. You just want to sail. We're going to be sailing into a storm. Let's see, and I prefer, and I would recommend it since you're following my guide, rather than use your furnace for this section at all, put up with it knocking your mast down, and use your sail to sail through the storm like a real pirate or ship commander. But it's mainly the reason I do that is to save the scrap, because like I said, that comes in later, and I know I mention it often, and I do apologize for that, but I like to keep you guys well informed that I'm not just holding on to it for like one of those games where you hoard everything and then don't use it. We will be using it all. During the storm, I won't be talking because it will get very, very loud, unfortunately, and I don't want to basically shout at you guys, so I'll just be muting myself, and you can watch me get through the storm and see that it's no real trouble whatsoever. All you have to do is repair your mast occasionally if it gets struck, and then continue with having strong winds and you'll get through it no problem. As you can see on the right, the grey cloud, it's just a line at the moment of grey, but that's the storm that's coming. So for now, I'm just going to sign off for you guys. I will come back later after to tell you some more about the game, but for now, we're just going to be dealing with this storm, so there's not much for me to say. Just prepare your repair box, your new one that you got from that last mission, so that it's ready to go. I know carrying a metal box in a storm isn't a good idea, but trust me, this time it is. So I will see you guys after the storm. So before I sign off, I wanted to tell you guys about the buoy that's coming up. So just know that this spot here has a buoy, and then we gotta retrieve the scrap. That's the only thing before the storm we have to deal with. You will have to turn the furnace on to get rid of the buoy, annoyingly. As soon as we get past the buoy though, put out your furnace. And then we can, once we put out the furnace, go down the hatch and grab the hook or the winch, whatever you want to refer to it as, and go down. Check out the cool whale, by the way. Look at that. That is absolutely like amazing. You want to interact with this and pull it so that it goes that way, then you want to scroll and go down into it. The scrap will be here. Once you hit the scrap, you'll be able to go back up. I like that whale, it's just so cool. And then you'll be able to pull the scrap up, and you will raise the sail and go into the storm. And so, yeah, I'll see you guys, or I'll talk to you guys. I won't be seeing you. That'd be interesting. I'll talk to you guys after the storm now. But don't forget, when you do lift up your thing, to collect your scrap and put it in to the area full of scrap. Thank you guys. Alright, we made it through the storm. Congratulations. So make your repairs as needed. I like to store the scrap, well, not the scrap, I like to store the repair boxes in that section up there. And the scrap in the bottom, so that way they don't get mixed up and confused. Again, we're just relying on the sail to take us to where we need to. We'll be getting up to a new section soon, so we'll have some fun with that. I take the sail down early, so don't actually take the sail down when I do, because I end up having to put it back up. But this is where the trick of my sail trick is actually handy, because as you can see, I literally even took the mast down and I'm like, wait, it's not close enough. If you watch the shadow though, it looks really cool. On the right at the wall, when I pull this sail down, it'll look like there's a person with a cape. See? How cool is that? Now we can take all that down. You do want to take the mast down too, just so you're aware. It won't be needed after we do this section for a little bit, so it's just easier to take it down now to save yourself some time. Now you want to climb this long ass ladder. I got a few tricks for this section to save you a bit of time. Well, I think it saves some time. You might not. It's your choice, of course. But you want to grab the repair box and you want to throw it over, so that gives us a third repair box. Well, you would have 4 though if you still have that other one that I used. Hit the button and then jump away from it like I did, so that way you can continue on. I still put that into place for later. You want to climb up this ladder, and then we're going to be doing a glitch that I think is actually faster than climbing the ladder, but it's your call. You want to get behind this ladder and then jump on it, and this will allow you to just jump up. We have to go 1 floor up more than we want doing this glitch, but I still think it's faster than actually climbing because we can just jump up. The good thing is when we fall down, we don't get any stun damage from this height. You want to interact with this lever and pull it all the way to the left so it's vacuuming. And then you want to interact with this object here and place it there. The hose needs to be put into that to vacuum to go up, otherwise you'll go down because it'll put water into it, and we don't want to go down. That would waste too much time. Then you want to climb the ladder, and then you'll be interacting with the lever on your left over here. You want to pull that lever right. This will give us a cutscene that we cannot skip at the moment. Hit that button up there near the hose. Do not forget to hit it. I've forgotten a couple of times. Then you want to fall down twice and then interact with this lever and pull it all the way to the right so water is pouring into it. Then jump off here. This will save you a bit of time. And then when you go through that hole, go to the left. If you land and then have to go through the hole, it's fine. This is just to save us some time so we don't have to wait for it to go down to the bottom. We're ready to go. Grab the hook and then head back inside. And if you timed it right, it should either be landing or have landed by the time you get inside, so we didn't have to go with it. And we've also got the hook, so that saves us a little bit of time, you know. This is a trick I found that actually I think saves a lot of time. It's very handy. Hit the button. This, instead of using the thing to winch it in, I was using the lever for a couple of runs, and then I accidentally hit the button and this happened, and I thought it was just great. It reels it in for you, but that's not the best part. It does what it's supposed to as well, which is goes to the other side. So it does 2 things. Like, that's great. Then you want to hit the lever to the right. Once it interacts with the ship, you do not need to pull it back up. You can just let go of the lever once that item is in the ship. And there'll be a trick that I'll be doing that if you can nail, sweet. If not, no big deal. It saves a few seconds again. But you have to fall off, and then you have to try and angle yourself. The rope is what pretty much tells you where, so that you land on the button. If you can do that while you're stunned, it'll actually put the button in. So those few seconds of stun don't matter. And if you miss, it's no big deal. Like I said, it's just a few seconds. But this will get you the 20,000 leagues achievement, and that's for installing the submarine mod, basically. Lets you go underwater. How cool is that? For some reason, my brain wants to call it 25,000 leagues under the sea, and I don't know why. But you want to plant your you want to water your flower since we stopped, and set the music box off if you decided to use the music box like I have. Then you want to put the hose into that funnel. This will submerge the boat. This is something you need to know about, because the lever now that was the one that we were using for the furnace and the cooling can also be used for your submerging and resurfacing. Because if you use the vacuum part, that'll resurface. You just got to pull the lever all the way to the left, and if you use it all the way to the right, it'll submerge. And to stop it, you put the lever in the middle, or you unplug it. Your choice on which one you want to do there. I tend to unplug it because I want the water for when I need to cool the engine and stuff. Like I said, you will need to know all this later. All this info comes in handy. This will be the first section we get to destroy while underwater, and it looks really cool. I love me some destruction. We get to ram this and just completely destroy it. We'll soon be coming up to a section where we want to lower the ship and collect some scrap. Well, actually, we want to turn the ship off to collect the scrap, but you know what I mean. This section has 3 sections we'll be stopping for scrap, and we will be remaining underwater for the entire section. There is an achievement for being underwater, so I've worked out when the best time to go up to get the buoys and stuff like that for everyone, so we can pretty much remain underwater as long as possible. See, this is how we're raising the ship. This is so I can collect the scrap. And I can't go that way yet for reasons, so instead I go this way. The scrap will be here. See, interestingly enough, they show you how to use the sonar, but they didn't realize they designed something better than the sonar, because I never used the sonar. I didn't like the sonar. It would go off sometimes with blue circles when there's no object around whatsoever. I looked around, never saw the object, but this bunch of scrap I discovered because of the bubbles. So what they should do, and I hope they do for like the next game, is rather than give you a sonar that just was waste of space, have the bubbles, the little air pockets from the objects, so that way you can see them. You see air bubbles, you know that there's an object. I think that's much better. But again, this is just my opinion. You might have been able to use the sonar more effectively than I did, and I was just ineffective with it. You want to raise the ship up a little bit? Again, make sure to avoid the blue for reasons. You want to lower the ship here a bit, otherwise you'll hit the wall like I just did. There's also some more scrap coming up soon. With this scrap though, I like to keep the engine going and try and collect it as I'm going, so that way I don't have to wait for it, and I can save a bit of time. I've never been able to collect all 3 doing that method, but I am able to collect 2, and to me that's good enough. If you want to stop the boat and get all 3, that's your choice. Oh no, I did stop the engine. I thought this is the part where I don't stop the engine. My bad. That must be later. Sorry. I guess we do stop the engine. Though you want to be higher than I was. I had a bit of trouble getting under the hatch door, as you can see. Some of the times the game will try and force you up and out of the water. I try and fight that. Again, this is another instance of a your call, because I try and stay underwater for as long as possible, even during those sections. I don't like being forced out of the water. See how you can use the lever to raise and lower your ship? Well, it's plugged into the submerine module, you may as well say. I was going to call it a submerge module, but yeah, submarine module probably is a better name for it, or better term for it. What I'm doing right now is to show you a little trick. If you get the right sort of height, you can actually look up through the water to see what's in the non-submerged part of the game, and this is how you can actually tell certain markings, like for example the buoys. I've marked on my notes what objects I'm looking for outside of the buoy to tell me to raise my ship up. That carry of the objects was an accident. I did not mean to be that low, but it worked out in my favor because they're all underneath me now. Makes it very quick to pick them up, but it was an accident. If you can't do that, I understand. You know, it won't hurt you to go and get them if they're a bit further up or down. This is just to show you where they are. Yeah, the section I was talking about where I don't stop is another section, and I do apologize for talking about that early. It's sometimes hard to remember exactly what you did in what area. I try to be clear and concise so that way I don't confuse you guys. You want to raise the ship up a little bit because soon we're going to be using the winch. So once you see that blue little Lego piece, that's what it looks like to me, you want to grab your winch. See how easy it'll be to move around because we can swim? That's why I went around that like that. Grab your winch and plug it into that, and then pull the lever to the left. Now I thought it was going to pull the door open on the left, but instead it pulls it on open on the right, so I had to go through this way. It will do one of either, so yours may open on the left, yours may open on the right. It really just depends on where your ship is at the time. Every time mine had been on the left, that one time it'd be on the right, so you want to grab this and open it up. This will give you a gap. Grab the winch off the object we placed it on earlier, and then go back into that gap. Grab the drop the winch by accident. Grab the scrap that we're picking up, and then go back to the winch controls and then lift it up. Now, because of my boat being so close to the object, I didn't want to get caught on the scrap box, so instead I swim around my ship. It takes just as much time to do that, so if your ship's close like mine, I would recommend that, because if you get caught by the scrap box, it will drag you. Pick up the scrap on the left here before we hit the button, then push into the button with your body. Again, it is trickier in the water, but once you do it, you can just go straight up. We have to wait for the view to change, but I go into the hatch, or at least I try to. Well, it's doing that with the bad view. This will get you turn on the lights for activating the underwater gate. See, there was no buoy in this section, that's why I said we were free to be submerged. I have notes of when I could be submerged and stuff, so that way I could give us the peak performance to be underwater, because the being underwater one is the achievement that takes a bit, I wouldn't say the longest, but it takes a bit longer than most of them, so if you planned it out, it was much better. But we can move on now. We want to use our... Sorry about that. We want to use our furnace. Again, not putting it on blue, just before blue. For this next section, this is the section, second underwater part. It is safe to swim underwater. There is no buoys again. This is the section that I was talking about a little earlier when I mentioned it being forced to go up. There'll be a section where it does force you to go up, and it's your call if you just want to basically go up and then resubmerge. I try and fight it and stay the course, so to speak. It ends up getting me stuck for a few seconds while I fiddle around with it when I do that. But what you can still do, even if you decide you want to be submerged, is do what I'm doing and try and stay till like the end and then raise yourself up. Don't just raise yourself up, because at least that way you get some more progress towards it, towards your submersion. So this is about the point where you'd raise up if you wanted to, and then just go back down when you get past this part. But as you can see, I'm forcing it to continue being submerged on this little bit. and then it gets stuck because one of the wings is being caught. But just lifting it up slightly fixed that. Told you, stubbornness. If you can choose to, like I said, go above and then submerge again. I didn't want to. There's another section where they do it as well, and it pretty much does force you to a degree, and I still try and fight it. See how the sonar's going off? I never understood that. There is no scrap whatsoever, like... And if it registers my scrap that's in the boat, that's a bit silly in my opinion. Because that's not telling me there's scrap around, that's just telling me you've got scrap. It's like literally having a message icon go, you've got mail. I know I've got mail, I can see it. See, that one was a little less tighter than the other one, so you can still stay underwater pretty much throughout. You don't have to raise up where I do. You can stay down a little bit longer, but I like to raise up when I get to this archway because I can save that little bit of scrap for the next parts. But if you want to stay underwater and work towards some more of your underwater achievement for being submerged, by all means. As you can see, I'm starting to go up now. See, that's the archway I was talking about. It's a pretty long section of the game still to go till we get to the next part, but I like to save the scrap because there is an achievement we'll be going for that takes a couple of attempts, and it's an underwater part, so that'll add to it anyway. That's later on in the game, of course, but that'll add to it as well, so I don't mind losing some underwater progress to save some scrap for this part. But again, I like to always have in my guide, it's a your call kind of situation. If you want to stay underwater for a bit longer, by all means you go for it, you know, you do you. The good thing is we get to check out some more of the scenery though. I do really enjoy the scenery. The underwater scenery though, sometimes, like under here, it is just amazing. And then you got the scenery above water, and it's really good too. They really did a good job on scenery. Like, I only have a few problems with the game, and then niche could be just sudden problems, you know? No one else's. I think a few little tweaks on some of the suggestions I made and the game would have been mint. But as it stands, it's still a fantastic game. Like, I highly recommend it. Like, I'm hoping that when you're playing this and watching this guide, you are enjoying every moment of it. And I'm trying my best to only tell you about certain parts when they're necessary, so that way as you're playing, you're getting to enjoy the full aspect of it, because you don't know what is going to be the next thing that happens, because I'm not talking about it early, unless it's a Bowie or some scrap. The best part is, once you've played the game once, you should memorize all this, hopefully, and you will be able to do it again without having to worry, and you'll get an even more enjoyable experience. So you want to drop your sail down because these rocks are really close and we're almost up to the objective we need to be up to. This is where you'd want to raise if you were waiting these rocks are your signature, because this is the next section. This is one of the sections again where we use the mast, so make sure you raise all the way. If you can't reach it from your mast, you have not rised up enough out of the water. It's another reason why I rose early, so I could be the right height to climb this ladder here. It's very hard to see, but it's just above the mast. There'll be 4 scrap objects on your left here. You want to grab them and then just drop them down. Third one is another music box, so if you wanted to swap out your music box for a different tune with the flower, you could. I just use that one for scrap. This wind, now I normally can do this, but for some reason it was deciding it didn't want to do this. You can, if you jump like I am, you can actually on the PC, maybe because I had lower settings, I could always make it to the second one there, but when I tried to grab this one, as you can see, it just refused. Because it saves you a bit of time if you can manage, but for some reason it was decided it didn't want to let me. And then again, I got close to it and the wind knocked me back, and I was just like, no, I will do it. To show it's doable. I don't know why I couldn't do it on the Xbox. I could do it on the PC version, no problem. But eventually, I get onto it without having touched the second one. Like, if you want to get on the second one, wait for the wind to die, get on the first one, wait for the wind to die, get on the second one. Again, that's a, your call kind of thing. When we get up to this part, it's a little tricky. You got to jump and then climb up. It's hard to get it to do that sometimes. I did have a little bit of trouble. And then you want to fall all the way down. Then head to your left, your right, to fall down here, and then you want to push this box. I push the box right. You can push it left if you want, but I found it much faster and easier to push it right. This is where I do have a bit of trouble because the game can be a bit iffy. I went to place it on the hook, and as you can see, it didn't register it. Then it wouldn't let me pick it up. It's because the game has to highlight the object, and if it doesn't highlight it, you can't pick it up. It does get a bit annoying, it does that, but we want 3 of those on the hook, and we want to keep one. We're going to be stealing one of the scrap for ourselves. Jump on the box and then jump through the little gap. That's why I placed it here, and then you can just jump to your right, and then jump up again, and then jump, and then climb this, and then jump. Now this is where I stuff up again, but I kept it in to show you how you have time and stuff. I didn't restart or anything. This whole run is done in like one complete non-edited section. I hit the lever, the button just below you, twice, so that way it would put 2 scrap in. But I didn't see it only put 1 scrap in, because you need 2 scrap in order to do this part. So now we're getting to the blue section. Remember how I said don't get to the blue section? Well, now you want to get to the blue section. But you don't want the fuel to run out. Otherwise, that blue liquid on the left will start to disappear. And see the thermostat thing on the coolant? That's what we got to put out when it gets hot. With this, it's already on the water section, so you only have to jump and make sure the water hits it. While keeping an eye on the blue section, because you want the blue section. See how I'm getting low on scrap? I didn't notice. And unfortunately, because of that, the flame goes out. And if you watch the blue thing, watch how quickly I lose progress on that. Like, unbelievable. Normally I wouldn't have that issue, but for some reason it decided it only wanted to put 1 piece of scrap in when I told it to put in 2. Because for this section you can actually get through it with just using 2 of the 4 scrap it gives you. But rather than carry 2 with you, I like to just take 1 with me. But you see what I mean by You literally lost all that progress in just a few seconds. Like, it is unbelievable. And then we got the next section where we push this. You do want to place the, I should have said this earlier, but the scrap where I placed it was next to the hose, and you do want to place it there. There is a reason I do place it there. For every run I did, no matter what, I could never remember this one thing to do, and this scrap helps me. You pick up the scrap, and there's a little blue button there that you can push. Every time, if I didn't have the scrap there, I would forget that button and then start climbing up and then have to drop all the way down, and you don't want that. So the way I figured to remind myself was putting the scrap there, because then you like get the scrap and push the button, get the scrap and push the button. Push the lever to the right, this will pick up the object. And then pull it to the left to pull it up. You want to jump onto the button and then just keep jumping. Then you want to grab the lever and pull it right. As soon as it hooks in, you can just leave the lever and then leave. Fall down the gap and try and avoid landing on your mast, so you land on your ship. That'll drop the scrap on the ship, and you don't have to go onto your mast to get it, because you can land on your mast and the object can land on the mast, and then you have to go and get it, and that takes up time and it's annoying. That's the second music box if you want to use that one for I don't know why, but for some reason, even though I've got sound off, so that way I can't get in trouble by, you know what, I can hear that music box, but the second music box is actually tied to music. That one's just tied to special effects, which is interesting. This will get you ancient energy for using the installing the energy boost module. And as you can see, that's the blue bar that I've been talking about this whole time. When you're like, Sardin, why do you keep telling us not to go to this blue bar? Well, now, joyous, we finally get to go to the blue bar. And all our scrap has finally paid off. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that music box playing up and have to mute the sound. I don't know why you wouldn't have that in music section instead of special effects, but it is what it is. The reason I'm doing this right now is I'm waiting for it to get into the boost section, because it's making this noise, and that noise is the noise that it's about to activate the button that you can push for boost. And then I realized I'm out of scrap, and I'm like, god damn it, because what happens when you run out of scrap? You lose some of the boost. The good thing is it saves up to 3 bars. As you can see, those 3 bars that it's got right now, it'll always save those bars. So if you were to set it up, you could have it just on those 3 bars if you didn't want to use boost, and then just wait. Because I'm trying to bring in all the scrap I just got. we go. Now I can finally move on from this section. For leaving this section, we'll get another achievement. Seafarer. That's for passing through the sea gate. You want to grab the hose and you want to hook the hose up to the submarine part and submerge yourself. And you want to try and do my trick where you can see above land, because we're going to be looking for a landmark so we don't miss the buoy. The landmark we're looking for will be a blimp, but not like, don't imagine a blimp in the sky. It'll be a destroyed, scrap pieces remain kind of blimp. Once you cool down the engine and you pump up the blue thing, I hadn't done it yet because I was busy doing everything else, but we want to go and water the plant. We really should have watered it before when we stopped, but we didn't have the time. And this is what happens if you go near the door while you're holding the hose. It's so annoying. It drops the hose and then activates some kind of little... I can't go out there with the hose. I wasn't trying to go outside with it. Now, yeah, if I went outside and you activated that, I'd understand, but having it just near the door is annoying. As you can see, I can just see up the top. What you want to keep doing is activating boost while we're underwater. Just keep activating boost. Now, back to watering this plant. Gonna put the music box on for it. Now, the thing I did just before was when I activated the boost, if you notice, the engine was almost overheated. That's the kind of trick that I wouldn't recommend, because if the engine overheats, you know, that's a problem. But because it was so close to almost being boosted, I risked it. See all the scrap we got now for boosting? It's worth all that collecting. We're about to enter a second storm. The good thing is this storm isn't so loud, so I will be able to be heard when talking, because we're underwater. See, again, I knew that it was gonna pop out before it overheated. This underwater section is probably one of the best. You just don't see it in a game, and you don't see it often. It just adds to the atmosphere. All the jellyfish. Makes you really feel like you're in the ocean. See, that's what I'm talking about with the hose. And how it can be annoying that you can't push Y just to turn off the water and Y to turn it on when you want it. Because I accidentally hit the furnace and turned off my power. See, absolutely stunning. And again, I fell down, and there goes my boosting. Hopefully you're a bit more careful and it doesn't happen to you as often as it did to me. It was very frustrating. Especially when you're trying to do a speed run and it just keeps dousing your engine when you're trying to cool down the other thing and not douse your engine. Just because we don't use the Y button for anything, so that's why I figured it'd be a good button. Just hit Y and then the water won't come out. You go take it to where you need to, hit Y and the water comes out. Quite simple mechanic. But like I said, other than that, I don't have any issues with the game. Like, it was done really well and it's very solid. Just a few tweaks and I would have been happy. Well, happier than I was. I actually enjoyed this game a lot. And the trick here that I'm doing is if you actually wait after a boost and you jump on the thing, you can get a little bit of extra boost straight away. It just makes the engine really hot doing it without using too much scrap, because what happens is when it comes out of a boost, it is still in the blue section, so by jumping on it you're keeping it in that blue section rather than losing that little couple of seconds. And the best part is because it's coming out of the boost, you don't use that much scrap, so you get a little bit out of it. It's not much, but you know, every bit of boost makes a little bit of difference. I don't always do it because sometimes you've got a lot to do. And see, again, it doused my engine. It's just that little bit of water, and it's so annoying. It sprays into it. Hell, even a lever, you know, just to close off that section so you could walk across and douse, cool the thing when you wanted to cool that, would have been cool. Because then you could just pull the lever back when you didn't want to do that, and that way you didn't have to worry about the water going into your engine. But again, it might just be a me issue. So here's our blimp, so we want to raise up. I pull the thing so it stops moving the ship altogether, so that way I can raise it up fully for the buoy that's about to come up. I leave the engine going because it's easier to knock the buoy with the engine, but I get ready to turn it off when we knock the buoy past, which we have. And this time I'm trying to douse the engine. Then if you forgot to grab the scrap like I did, grab your scrap from the last one and throw it inside. And then grab the winch and swim down. We get to see another whale, as you can see. The marine life in this game is really well done. You want to head off slightly to the right when you see this building, and then you want to fully head to the right once you're in it, because there's a box that we need to pull back. Once you've pulled the box back, you can then head to the left, which will lift up the thing, and then head down and you'll see the scrap box that we can now winch up. Now we can winch back up. As you can see, the clouds in the distance there, we'll be running into the second storm that I was talking about a little earlier. But we can safely be underwater when we're doing that storm, so it's fine. While the object's being winched, you can move on and submerge at the same time to get you some more Submariner progress. As you can see, I'm just trying to get the height just right so that way I can still peer above ground, while also keeping the fuel going towards the boost. It's a hard thing to manage all that, but if you can manage it all, you're going to have a good time. And there we go, that's the next object. I just put the scrap in there rather than deal with going and getting some scrap or something. Just easier. You may have already put scrap in, or you may have not have. Either way, everyone will have a different scenario when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I don't really talk about putting scrap in, because I may need to when you don't, you may need to when I don't. This part is just about boosting and staying underwater. I'll probably stop talking soon because we get to the second storm. You'll be able to hear me, but I just think it'd be much better if, since all you're going to see is me boosting and submerging through the storm and repairing things. I just think it'd be much better for me to not say anything, because you'll be doing the same things. So that way you can concentrate on that. Okay, we've made it through the second storm, so congrats. We just want to now pay attention to another buoy coming up. This buoy will be just after the second storm, as soon as you see the breeze. And once you do find that buoy, don't bother going back underwater. Stay above water. As you can see, I've found the spot, so I'm going up. These are the debris I'm talking about. That little, you can see them all in the distance. I didn't figure any other way to kind of describe them other than debris. I doused the engine and then I realized I needed it on to get past the buoy, but then it got past the buoy, so I was just like, okay. And I re-put it out. So you want to grab your hook. Don't ask me why I did that. And then you want to scroll down. This is probably one of the easier scraps to collect. As you can see here, and then you just want to hook it and then set up your sail. You won't be putting your sail up for long, because if you see that bridge on the right there, our sail's damaged from the storm too, so I'll have to repair that. But if you see as you see the bridge archway, we just need to give it enough distance so that it gets us to that and then through that, basically, as you're about to see. Once I see the save point, I close it, put it down. Unfortunately, I didn't put it down enough. Again, I put it down too early, so I'm gonna have to put it back up so we can get that little bit of distance and get to that ladder. But while we're here, since we've got to put the scrap in, water your flower before we forget. And play it a little music to cheer it up. Now if you're like me, you'll realize you didn't put it up enough and then have to put the mast back up and pull the sail. But it's fine, no big deal. Now we can pull it down properly. And it didn't go down when I hit the button. It does that sometimes. Grab one of your repair boxes, preferably one with a couple of charges on it. Like I said, you want to try and hold on to the ones that have one charge left, and repair your mast. The storms are good because if you're lucky, they'll damage you a lot, so that'll add to the repairs that you need to do. You want to climb the ladder and then jump over this object and climb the next ladder and then jump to your right. And just continue jumping through here. Now what you don't want to do is what I did. I've never done it before, but I made a mistake. And I've never made this mistake in all the playthroughs I did. Of course I do it during the guide. The pressure was too high. But you want to jump across this, not jump, miss, and fall. Literally gave myself a sudden fall. So you want to climb up the ladder again, and hopefully you're not climbing up it again, to be honest. And you're just waiting for me to actually make the jump like a pro. But jump over here and then just jump on the ladder. You don't need to go up to the third one. If you want to go up to the third one though, it's fine to do so. I just know that you can make it from the second spot, so I'm just letting you know that you can. You want to activate this lever. Now this is the interesting thing. I'd only had it happen once, but one time when I let go of the lever when I did this time, it connected, but this time it didn't. So I would say just wait until the shadows are over it completely and then let go of the lever. Otherwise you're gonna have to grab it like I did and then pull it back. So once the shadows are over it completely like that, you let go. Then you can fall down and then you can go over to the next part of this puzzle. You want to go under that box and then push the button on the side there, and then you want to jump over it and push it. Just to knock that down, you want to fall down there. Then this part, I would recommend you fall to the left and just straight down, whereas I know to a degree where the lever is, so I risk it. If you fall too far to the right, you will fall in the water. You want to pull the lever to the left, and that'll drag it down. Wait till the light is on, and then pull it to the right. You have to, this is one of those rare times where you have to hold on to it until it's pulled all the way up. And then this will be a choice on your part on which way you want to do it. I think it's faster to, once I let go of the lever, jump in the water and then swim to my boat. You will also get the "Are you qualified for that" achievement for doing this. That is using the crane to clear the way. The other option is you can go back the way you came, but I felt this was much faster. So that's why I went with this method. We can start the ship back up. And then we can sink to the bottom. We can be safely underwater for this part until we hit a metal item that will stop us. We're supposed to hit this metal item and go deeper underwater, so it's fine. Like I said, I wrote notes, so I knew when and how long we could be underwater for. And I'm passing this information on to you so that you can be underwater just as long and work towards Submariner, whichever way you want to call it. Again, we'll be focusing on boosting while underwater. As you can see, we're using our power scrap a lot that we saved up. We had a good pile going and now we haven't got much left. That's why I said it at the start a lot, to a point where I thought it might have been a bit annoying. Keep boosting like I've been doing and keep checking your surroundings. There's not much for this section, unfortunately, except for all that. Another section where you're forced to go above water, and I try and fight it. I don't want to be out of the water, I want to stay in the water. But all that happens is it gets my ship stuck and I can barely see. I'm like, fine. But then I go back underwater. Game doesn't completely beat me. Because I was trying to deal with the boost bar, that's why I was stuck then. I hadn't had time to fix up the submarine submerging and stuff. To tell it I didn't want to submerge. Because I didn't want to lose the progress of the boost bar. I got lucky because I put out the engine, but it didn't put away the boost. And this is the metal object I was talking about. So now you just want to submerge underwater. The annoying thing with this, and I could never ever work out why it happened, but in every single playthrough, when you get down to the bottom, and I'm only giving a little slight spoiler because I want you to avoid it, it always hit this like big orange nose kind of poking out of the door that you got to go through. So reverse your ship a little bit using the reverse and the lever, so that way you're away from it. I have to turn on my engine and reverse it, and it's this whole big thing. Whereas if you preemptively reverse a little bit, you'll save yourself some time. It's not much time, don't get me wrong, but any time saved is, you know, time that you can use on mistakes that you might accidentally make. I don't know why it popped here, because it's supposed to pop in the when you go into the actual room, but the achievement for the flower just unpopped for going to its full potential. So that section of the underground must count as your, well, I wouldn't say it's your room, but that section of it must count as one whole section. And either way, we're done with the flower now, so we don't have to worry about it for this playthrough. No more playing up music, no more watering it. We're good to leave it alone now. It can flower off. See, this is the doorknob that I was talking about. Like, what even? Maybe it's because I always hit the metal pole. I don't know. It could be a sudden thing, but I just wanted to warn you guys in case. Submerged too much, unfortunately, but yeah, I didn't want to submerge a little bit. This is the area I was talking about earlier where I turn on the furnace. I don't turn it on fully, just a little bit. But I've only ever been able to collect 2 out of the 3 scrap, just so that way you don't have to wait for it, because you need to get through this section. And rather than stop the boat, get the scrap. For this section in particular, I just... 2's enough, you know. I try and get the 3rd, but I'm never successful, so I'm not worried. Because there'll be another section when we get, I think 3 scrap, and then another section when we get 4. So getting 2 out of 3 for this lot, and not losing any time on the ship itself moving, I'm happy with that. In a minute we'll want to drop the ship. So turn off your engine and then just drop the ship. We'll be submerging down a little bit. This is to collect the 3 scrap that I was talking about, but then we'll be submerging back up. So it's your choice how you want to handle turning off the submerging section, because I turned it off by taking the hose out, but I'll have to plug it in to tell it I want to go up. Whereas you could have just pulled the lever and put it in the medium position to tell it to not do anything. And that way you could just go to the lever after and tell it to go up. It's a your call kind of situation on how you want to do that. I went a bit too high, so I gotta drag it down a little bit. But that's okay. Now for this part, you want to get it into the blue, but the reason why is not for a boost. You want to fill those 3 bars. It'll come into play later, I'm not giving any spoilers, but this will help you do that bit a little bit faster, thus saving you some time. You want to raise up the ship, and this will introduce a new mechanic to the game. You use this mechanic I think 3 times. It auto pulls your ship to it once you get close, which is really handy, because what you can do is you can take advantage of it. So when this opens up, you want to catch your hatch on it, so you lower it straight in and it'll lock you in place. It's really good, that, because then you can put out your engine and you're all good. You want to hit the button, and then you want to swim down, and there'll be another button. Well, actually this part isn't that part, so sorry about that. You want to swim down and then go to your right, and then swim all the way down here because there's some scrap. You swim back the way you came, but don't put it into your ship. We're going to just be dropping it off. Just here. Let go of it, and it should be fine. Then we want to swim back upwards and grab this door handle. I know it's hard to see, but there is a door handle there. And then you want to swim into this pipe. Once you swim into this pipe, you want to swim all the way down. And then you want to swim to your left. We'll be not activating the button, so that way we can skip our section. And we want to go straight for this lever and then move it left. See the button just down there? You could have hit that for this object, but rather just hit this lever and pick it up and then move to the left. Because if you had to hit the button, it would have taken a lot more time, because it does this scene that I'm not actually going to tell you what happens and everything, and it just, yeah, You can tell when I grab the next one pretty much what it would have done, because compared what that one looks like to the one we grab and use, and you'll get the idea. So you want to move the lever all the way over to the right. We have to hit this button 3 times. So that was the first time to pick that one up. Well, technically 4 times because you have to drop it as well. So yeah, 4 times. So we'll pick this up. See the difference in the image? It gives you an idea of what that object did. It was useless. And move it over to the left here once it lights up, and you can push the button and drop it. And then once the door opens, you can swim through and hit the button. This will complete that puzzle. Now I don't go all the way up, you just see me go off screen a little bit. I'm just a little bit up because I'm getting ready to move on. The reason I tell you this is because I don't want you to miss the scrap. If you can actually during this cutscene go all the way up to your ship, and it could save you a little bit of time, but I wanted the scrap because it's much more important. So again, I'm going up just slightly off screen, because right here is the scrap. See it all? I stuffed up when I was trying to throw it upwards. As you can see, it's not doing it. What you want to do is move up and then hit X, and that's how it should go, like that. And this will save you carrying one at a time and going back down one at a time, because it pushes it up further for you. The only thing that's annoying is the camera angle can be a little bit tricky for you to see the object. As you can see, I'm trying to pick that up, but I can't actually see because of the camera angle. But this is the only time there's a real bad camera angle. And you know, that's okay. I can deal with it once. It's not too annoying. And you can see the 3 objects we have floating. These are the 4 scrap items we're getting, so that's why I didn't care if we missed 1 from the 3 earlier. But if you wanted to stop your ship for that, like I said, that's your call. So for this section, we want to put the scrap in if you need to, and then we want to get the boost going. This is why I said we wanted to fill it earlier. Once we do that, we'll be getting a long cutscene. So I won't talk during the cutscene for you. As you can see, when this ends, this little bit here, we'll be able to move on. It'll zoom out and we can finally move our characters. So what you want to do is you want to jump up. We will get an achievement too for doing that, risen from the death, but we want to get to this edge and then jump off. You'll land on the ladder and we can start climbing up. I'll deal with that achievement now. Complete the ascent of the floating city is what you just unlocked. We want to hit this button here. Well, stand on the button, not really hit it. And this will give us another long cutscene. I won't disappear for this one. Because it may be long, but it's not like the other one. Now a trick is when it fades, I think it's LT or RT, I just kept hitting both of them. You want it to zoom in or zoom out, that's how you know you can access you like move your character, and then you want to jump straight away onto your ship, because that's what you'll see me do. I zoom in so you can see where I land. I land on the winch. This is when you can do it. See, it's fading out. And here we go. So I'm hitting the buttons to see if I can move or not. Once it gives you access to, there we go. See the camera moved a little bit. And I jump. And I've zoomed in so you guys can see where I am. Because otherwise if you use like this. And we want to put the mast up. And then we want to pull the hook and pull it down. Plug it in and then get on the switch. As soon as you get on the lever, another cutscene activates. I can't move at the moment until this cutscene is finished. So that's literally 3 cutscenes in a row. This will unlock you an achievement. What now? That's for leaving the floating city. So for this part, this will be the 5th. Yeah, this will be the 5th buoy. We're looking for a metal arch, but we can be underwater till we see that. But at the moment, I'm not bothering with going underwater yet. There we go. Now I can start going underwater. I just wanted to get past that other metal and start it here. That way you had a nice little spot you could see. Probably should have descended first before I started doing all this stuff, but I figured have the engine going, easier. Because then I can build up some boost. See, the little bit of water keeps it. If it hits your engine, it's really annoying. You know the drill. Keep an eye on the cooling of the engine and just keep boosting while we're in the water. That's the metal archway. So we want to raise up now. See? We're coming across the buoy soon. Douse our engine. Go grab the hook. And swim down and collect the cash. This cache is very easy. It's not a puzzle or anything, we just have to hook it on and then swim back up and grab it. Now we can go back underwater and continue to focus on boosting while underwater. That being the last catch for the achievement, if you got them all and have been following me, we'll get you Salvage Hunter for getting 6 containers. I will show you where the 7th one is, just in case you missed one. This section is literally just boosting again while underwater. Pretty simple. You know, cool the engine when it gets hot, hit the boost button when it's ready to boost. Keep the fuel inside the furnace so that it doesn't run out, and keep pumping it till it's on the blue. You do want to lower yourself more. This section we don't really need to check the top. That's why I lowered myself. Once you see these wooden sort of, I don't know what you call them, mast maybe? Broken masts, you want to lower. Because if you remember that thing that we got to hook the hatch up to, there'll be another one of these coming up. See it right there? It's glowing. So we want to line it up so that way we can, once we're close enough, just lower into it. Then we can turn off the engine. This is the next puzzle. You want to hit the button and then scroll down. There'll be a button to hit. So you just swim into that button and then wait for the water to drain out. You hit this switch and it'll break. And then we need to go the next way. I did take a repair kit with me to see if I could repair it and the game would let me continue so I could skip this part, but unfortunately that they had thought of that. It did nothing. You actually have to do this puzzle. So move this object all the way to the left. It'll get stopped by the other one, so move that one to the left. And then since you're there, grab the switch, well, the hose, because it's already on the water, and put it in the first one. Then move the other object that we were originally moving over to the left here, and then grab the hose because it should have filled this first one, and put it in the second one. Then you can jump up, and when it's high enough you can hit the button so that it links up. You want to turn the hose so it empties the other one, because while it empties it, you can move it faster. Now, I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but I felt like that's what happened, so that's why I did it. Grab the repair kit and then jump on it and jump over, and this will allow us to get back to the lever. Repair the lever and then pull the lever left. And then, oh no! We just lost our ship. Alright, we're gonna fall in water, so head right. Or swim right, I should say. And then head up the pipe and then grab the box and pull the box to the left. And once it falls down, head back in the pipe and then grab the door handle and pull that up. Interact with this switch and pull it left. You can let go of it then. You can be like me and keep hitting A to try and get it out faster, but unfortunately until it pulls you all the way up and opens the attach part, it won't let you out. This will get you the Northwest Passage achievement, and that's for resurfacing between the ice. Now this part, it's sort of a your decision. I feel like it walks too slow if I walk, so I jump. I feel like that walks faster, but if you don't feel like that's the case and you just want to walk, then feel free, you know. It is your game after all. I just felt like it was faster. I felt like I was getting through the section faster. It's a long section. So I'm going to talk about one of the parts in the future that we're going to be doing. It took me 8 attempts to get, but there's a section we'll be stopping at, and I'll let you guys know when. And you've basically got to submerge and then get through the whole cave system without bumping your tail end, your top end, or your side end, or even the bottom of the submarine. The submarine cannot touch anything, and you got to get through that section completely untouched. And the reason I do it before we finish our speed run is so that way you've got the second hardest achievement done, and then you get the speed run done, and then all you've got to do is mop up. I show you not the full video of 2 attempts, but 2 achievements I got during 2 attempts. And you will get both of those achievements if you've been following with the submerging when I've been submerging. The second one I got, you'll get because on the second bit, when we actually continue the speed run, you'll be able to knock that object. I'm deliberately not giving too many specific details, but I'm just preparing you because we're close to that part, and we're close to nearing the end of the run of this game, that we will be stopping the speed run just to do that. The video I show of me doing it might not necessarily be the way that you want to do it, and I will suggest you try and do it what suits you. I can't really give any tips because it's all about just being slow, taking your time, watching where you're going, you know, and the fact of the matter is that's not handy for a speed run. So that's why I like to do it, then load the save back up, and then you can just pretty much rush through that section really fast, ram things, hit things, and it does not matter. Whereas imagine trying to do that in a speed run. It just wouldn't work. You'd be too slow and stuff, and you'd have to come back to it anyway. So I figured I'd do it first, then go to the speed run. Anyway, we've just passed the ice, so climb this ladder. We can continue on now. I hope you enjoyed that little rant. Open this door. Then fall down, and you'll see this little shifty looking bunch of planks, and that's because they make you fall. Then you want to fall down here to save a bit of time. This is why we carried the repair box with us. You just want to fall down, jump out the window with this repair box. Saves you having to go and get the other one. Then take this box, and I used to get the full repair box, throw that out the window, and this one and throw it out the window. Use this one and then take the full one with me. But there's no real point. Like, it was not really that beneficial. So just to save time, keep the repair box that's had one use, and it'll soon get a second use. And like I said, that's just easier. Repair this object, and the mast will fall down, and then we just got to climb it. So here's our second encounter with a wind section. Now, jumping does make it easier in my opinion, but no matter what you do, you will get pushed back every time you get to a section. You can get to one section, jump up, and try and get to a second section, but no matter what you do, you always get pushed back to your previous section until the wind dies down, and then you can go on. I never was able to do it without that happening. But hey, it doesn't stop me from trying. So yeah, as you can see, I really would have liked, because I talk about the background often and how it's good and stuff, but I really would have liked, I know this is a nice section, but they had animals and stuff in the water. They've had elk and deer. I would have really liked them to have added something in the background for this ice level. Some kind of animal, because with all the debris and stuff from all the ships and stuff like that, I imagine there would be food that would have attracted some kind of creature or some creatures, and it would have been cool to, while you're walking past the long sections with nothing to do, have something to look at in the background. It sort of, background here, not in a mean way, sort of fails. I get that it's just trying to set that you're in the ice and, you know, it's bare and there's nothing there. But it would have been nice to have something to look at while you're walking around doing nothing. When you see those 3 boxes or 3 scrap items, that'll be the next section. Once you touch that, it's going to collapse. Right there. And if you push forward, you'll slide faster. And if you jump, you'll go even further. Get you down a little bit quicker. So with this wheel, you want to climb it up. And then throw the repair box up and over. Then you want to drop down, grab the scrap. And you want 2 of them. And you want to throw it down below. You want to open this door. And then again, throw them both below. You're going to get slowed down in a sec because you're going to discover a body. And it drops a ladder which I happen to block with the object I put there. So, I mean, if you want to see what that ladder is, I couldn't make heads or tails of what the image was. So it's neither here nor there. But you'll be able to look on your game. And then once you start up the engine by pushing in the button and putting the object in it and then hitting the button, jump up and down to keep the furnace going. If you look to your right, you'll be seeing the water drip off the ice. That's what we're melting. And it takes the 2 objects, once they've been completely burnt out, to melt it completely. I leave a little bit early, and there's a little bit of scrap still in the furnace, and it luckily lets me through, but I would not recommend that. Like, if it had not let me through, I would have had to travel all the way back, turn the furnace back on, and that's even if it hadn't have used all the furnace material, and then I would have had to grab the 3rd object, which you shouldn't have to, and then, yeah, it would have been this whole thing. So I recommend waiting till it's completely emptied, and then going for it. It's a couple of extra seconds, but what's a couple of extra seconds if you don't have to do more work than is needed? Alright, so that's when I left. Like I said, I recommend you stay a bit longer, because watch. See, it stops me a little bit, but just lets me through. So when you slide down here, jump, and you'll slide faster. And then you want to jump to your left here, and then you want to jump on the first one, the second one, and then jump to your right. You don't need to jump up to the higher one. If you want to, that's fine. Now, with this part, when you get to the cliff face, do not jump off. I've jumped off once, and that slowed me down because it's easy just to fall off and slide. If you jump, you get so much distance that it does a stun damage instead, and then it doesn't slide and stuffs the whole thing up, and so it actually slows you down. So I recommend walking off. See, even in here, there's not really anything to look at. I know we're pretty much focusing on stuff now, but it just sucks. So throw the box over. Be careful not to drop the repair box in the water. Repair boxes sink to the bottom. I will warn you of that. Repair boxes sink to the bottom, so do not drop them in the water. I have on one occasion done that, and it fell all the way to the bottom, so that wasted a ton of time having to go and retrieve it. You want to get all these items over to your ship, which is in the ice. I left the closest item and focused on getting the furthest items. Getting on the ice can be a bit tricky. It just doesn't want to play ball sometimes. That was a really bad throw. But I made up for it with the second one. I'll be showing you a trick to repair your ship too, so you don't have to wait till it's defrosted to repair the whole thing. I tested it on one run to see if it was possible, and I found a way to make it possible. And it doesn't require like any real effort, it's just about positioning. So if you go to this piece of snow and just stand here, it'll repair the mast for you early. And you don't have to wait for it. This is also the 10th repair, go figure. So that gets running a tight ship for 10 repairs. I can't believe I got this far through the game with only repairing the ship 10 times. It's... if I hadn't deliberately caused some damage a few times, I wouldn't have even got the 10 yet. Which is unbelievable. Take one of the repair boxes and repair the engine parts of the ship. And the top part. Push the boost module back in. Put the repair kit back away. And now we can start up the engine. I do this first because it's easier. You probably can see it in the video that there is a repair kit on my right. Maybe you didn't see it, but you do now. The reason we want to turn on the engine first, before we go and get that, is so that we can melt some of the ice. See, now that the engine's on, we'll go ahead for it. This saves us a ton of time. Because we didn't need it to repair anything. We had enough repair kits with enough uses on them, and we didn't need to go and get it until the engine was turned on, because we've got to wait for the ice to melt anyway. This is another one of those moments when I go underwater. We'll be looking for a background item, like the debris. Not really an item that's close by. I think it's the only time I actually look for a background item though. That's like very niche, because in the background you can see the ice kind of looking wall, and that's what I'll be paying attention to when I go underwater. Freeing ourselves from the ice gets reunited because we freed the vessel from the ice. And now we can go underwater. Just boosting and being underwater while we're keeping an eye on that ice wall. I know it's not an ice wall, I know what it actually is, but if I tell you it gives away something. So for now I'm calling it an ice wall because at least you'll know and recognize what that is. there's a certain cliff, I guess it is a cliff, that shows up and in view, and once that cliff shows up, that's my indication of the Bowie being close by that we want to get up out of the water. It's pretty easy to spot because the whole thing doesn't really have a cliff until you see that cliff or edge, depends on what you want to call it. Kept falling down with the hose annoyingly. So I lost that boost that was ready, unfortunately, but you know, it happens. There it is, that's the cliff edge I was talking about. See on the right there, that little mass protruding out. Now I can raise up. This is also where we'll be stopping the speedrun for you to attempt a different achievement. Because it will save here in a minute. So this is the Bowie, we hit this Bowie, and if we go past it you'll get the achievement for hitting all the Bowies in the game. And for some reason it didn't pop yet, but I didn't care. I loaded the game. This took me 8 attempts. I'll be showing 2 of my failed attempts. So you see 2 achievements you'll unlock while trying for this achievement. They're not full attempts I'll be showing, just when the achievements popped during those attempts. There's no point me showing you failed attempts. Just thought I'd show you the attempts that earned me achievements, because you'll earn them too while you do attempts. Now it may not take you 8 attempts, it may take you less, but still, it's something that you may get. But one of them you will get even after On the third attempt, I got Submariner, which is the achievement we've been working on. That's why we've been underwater for so long, and that's for traveling 1,000 meters aboard. And then on number 6, I don't know how it counted, but I was doing this, and my mast must have hit the buoy, which is unbelievable that it counted. You'll get this even after you finish trying if you don't get it while your attempt. I got the O buoy for hitting all the buoys. If after your attempt and you get the achievement, we'll be hitting the buoy anyway, so that's one you'll be getting either after or during your run. It really depends. But this is what you've got to do basically. You've got to lower your ship. You're not allowed to hit the buoy. The buoy counts for this achievement, so you're not allowed to hit anything, hence why I said load your save. And the reason it's good to do now is because then you don't have to work out which save it is, because it's literally the previous, well, the latest save. Unless you get to the next section, then it becomes the save before that. But at least then you don't have to worry about loading the wrong save. And you want to slowly move your ship across. When you get the mast past the chain, you want to start to descend. So as soon as it lines up with the main part of the mast, that's when I start to descend. I'll be telling you how I did it my way, but you can try and do it your way, because it's very tricky, because there's no view that can allow you to see both the front and the back of the ship, and you've also got to be aware of the mast, and you've also got to be aware of the bottom of the ship, and you've got to get through this whole section without seeing it. So right now I'm actually onto the speed of the ship, and I'm using the light, as you can just barely see it on the rocks, to tell me when to stop the ship. So I'm still descending. Most people wouldn't risk that. Most people would just position it and then descend, whereas I'm still letting it descend. But now that it's close to the bottom of the thing, I'm only descending it a little bit, so that way it's not all the way on the bottom of it. I'm starting the engine, but I'm only hitting it twice, so that way it's not going too fast. So that way you can take your time. I do put it on the second gear here, just so I can get it past this part quicker, because this part, it's positioned fine. But this next part is the worst, and the part I hate the most. It's so tricky. I like to use the light that you've got in front of your ship as sort of a guide, but the thing is, the tail of the ship won't actually fit, so you've got to lower yourself enough that the tail isn't touching it, but so much so that you can still go ahead. See, as you can see, I'm doing here. I'm keeping an eye on the tail, and I'm trying to lower it a little bit, and then moving it forward just ever so gently. And see, the light on the rocks is what I'm going by. And I'm just trying to give it that much distance, and I stop it about here. And then I lower it, and I'm trying to watch the tail end. Once I've got a little bit of distance on the rock and I'm using the light to tell how far I can go down, I can move it forward a little bit. And of course my engine stopped because I haven't hit it in a while. I hit it twice and it didn't light up, so that's why that happened. So I hit it again, so it lights up, and then quickly stop it. I only wanted to move forward a little bit, then I drop it. Then I move it forward again a little bit. Then I stop it, because what I'm watching is the mast as well. Then I lower it a bit. Then I move forward a little bit more. That's why I said this part is very hard. Then I lower it, and I only just get the mast. See? I really should have stopped it, but I was too focused on the other part. And I ran out of fuel, so I put another 2 in. I put it full bore here because I trust my skills, but if you want to go 1 like that, which is what I did for you guys, it's much easier. You want to lower it, but not too low, but you want to avoid that rock just above you. And at the same time, watch the sand bed, because the sand bed's about to rise. Once the mast goes past, you can raise it up a little bit. But be careful of the tail end as well. So don't raise it up too much. And then as it's gone past again, raise it up a little bit. And then a little bit more. And now you can raise it up a bit more. You want to get it past this like stone kind of bed thing that it's about to get near. I tried to give you as much information as possible, but hopefully you will find a method, if my method is too crazy, that works for you. And hopefully you'll be able to see everything I did, so at least you've got some idea as well. The achievement will pop soon as it makes a save, which is in this part coming up. I put it on full bore here because once you get to this part you're pretty much safe. There's nothing you can hit. And then I just wait for it to make that save. And you'll get the achievement. This is the hardest achievement in my opinion in the game, steady as you go. Out of habit I start lowering it to match it with the thing that we're going to be interacting with next, but you don't need to actually do that. That's just a habit. Sorry about that. Steady as you go is for navigating the underwater caves near the waterfall without bumping into them. That's why I said it's one of the hardest achievements and one of the achievements I think you should focus on. And then load up this save, which is where we started with the Bowie, and that'll wipe all that time so that it starts from this save and this time for our speedrun. None of that affects the speedrun whatsoever, so that's why it's important to stop and get that achievement, so then you can just blast through this section, hit as much as you want, not have to worry about anything and not have to eat up any time, because as you're about to see, you'll see me getting through the cave and I'm as rough as guts with it. So we hit the Bowie to move it out of the way, and if you hadn't hit the Bowie in one of your attempts like I somehow accidentally did, you'll get the O Bowie achievement now for hitting all 7 of the Bowies. And I'm going to show you, like I promised, where the cache is, because this is the 7th cache. While it's lowering and moving to the right, I don't care, because like I said, it's going to hit objects, it's going to go down, and it's going to save us a ton of time. Because it will do all that without me having to do anything with the while I'm in the ship. And at the same time I can go and collect the cash. See, I can get some scrap. So we can scroll back up, and as you can see it's still lowering. This is the 7th catch, so if you missed one, this will be your 6th one and get you that achievement. And then you can reel it in, and then when it lets you, you can get back inside. And all I have to do is turn the furnace back on. But I'm waiting for the catch first. Now we've got another piece of scrap. We can start the furnace. See, we can have the furnace going full bore, it doesn't matter. Because we're not worried about hitting anything in it now, and we're not taking tons of time to do it. That's why I thought it was a better way for you guys to focus on getting that first, and then continue your speed run. And by the way, if you did do that and you got the one for not hitting anything, congrats. I really think they shouldn't have put it in as an achievement. The areas were just too tight. Watch this though, this is unbelievable. I didn't hit anything, see? Except for the mast, right here. I couldn't believe that. See, right there. I didn't hit anything though, so there was also that way you could have done it, and it's just like, I don't know how I pulled that off. I don't know if it was because I wasn't under pressure, but yeah. Because the other way I did it, I was very slow and careful and cautious. We are getting towards the end of the game, just so you guys are aware, so the speed run is almost over. And then we will be just mopping up a few miscellaneous achievements that we didn't get from this run. When you get to this section, you want to lower yourself. And I should mention, though I should have probably mentioned it in the other save, when we were doing the other achievement, the saves have a still image, and it's exactly the same for everyone, and it will load exactly the same place, exactly the same as it for everyone. So if you see me loading something, which we're going to be doing it towards the end of the game to mop up, that section is the section you want to load. You'll be exactly where I am. I was just straightening the switch for this bit because this bit's a bit finicky when you do this bit. I've had it not want to play ball, and in the video guide that I'm doing, it didn't want to play ball either. You got to attach your winch to the object there, and then you've got to pull your winch left, but the thing was, it wasn't working, so I had to pull my winch right. See, I started to go off thinking that it had worked, and then realized it hadn't. So then you got to peel. Okay, I hadn't realized yet. Now I realized. Then you got to pull to fix it. I had to pull the winch right. I don't know why, and then pulled it left, and that seemed to have fixed it. Start up the engine. And this bit can be a bit finicky to try and get in, but you just gotta raise yourself and lower yourself a little bit. I'm just sorting out my junk items, because the stuff on the hook on the left you can't actually use with the button. It's just a storage space kind of thing. But as you can see, look at all the scrap we've used. We collected so much and we're down to barely anything. But I did say that we were planning on using it, that it wasn't just me hoarding. So at least you know. Now this bit I do stop because I thought that I'd done it when it moved there. But that was just to indicate that we'd started doing it. And so I'm standing there for a little bit, letting fuel burn, and I'm just like, oh. And I jump on it again. You just gotta keep jumping on it until it inflates. And that is this section cleared. We've got no more buoys to worry about, and we've got no more salvage containers to worry about. We've got one more section that has a puzzle, but it's not that bad. It's pretty good. And then the last section to do, and then it will be mop up. I appreciate you guys for watching my video, and I hope it's been real helpful, and I hope it's been entertaining for you all. I just want to say that. For using the air balloon, we'll be getting Aeronaut. Aeronaut is for inflating the balloon and floating over the waterfall. When it does give you the ability to move around and stuff, the only thing you want to do if you don't have it set up is the 3 boost bars, but don't bother going any further than setting up 3 boost bars, because while you're in the balloon you can't do anything. I do forget an achievement at this point that we do mop up, but I will describe what to do. But if you want to wait to do it for the mop up, that is your choice. So there's an achievement for this section where if you when you drop down and you pull the mast up and you set it so that it's pretty much it's high speed wind, then you get the boost. So yeah, right now I had the boost, but I didn't bother hitting it because you don't want it. It does nothing. But so when you fall into the water, you put your mast up, you basically set it up so that it has the wind blowing at full speed. Then you get a boost, you boost, and while you've got the mast going at full speed and the boost going at full speed, go to the top of the front of the ship on the right, so where you place the modules normally, that end of the ship, and you'll get an achievement called On Top of the World. I forgot about it because I was so focused on doing the guide for everyone, but it's an easy enough achievement to mop up, so if you want to mop it up like I did, then you can just watch me replay the chapter, and you can copy me doing it. But if you understand what I'm saying, and you want to get it early, and then you don't have to worry about it, and you can move on to the next chapter we have to load, go for it. I don't know how, but somehow I broke the thing, waiting for it to drop. So now you want to get it to the blue bar. We don't have to go underwater. If you want to, I mean, by all means, you know, but we don't have to. I find it easier not to for this section because we're going to be running into the next part, as I said. And because we earned Submariner during that achievement, we don't have to worry about being underwater, so it's great. All we have to do is just keep boosting. Using what little fuel we have left. Pretty simple part. Just keep boosting. Remember the boost trick to get a little bit extra boost before it starts using your scrap. I tried to not run out of fuel then, but I didn't put it in quick enough for me, unfortunately. So as you can see, the blue bar's vanishing. But it's okay, because we're up to the next section. I still hit the button when it shows up because, you know, I earned it. I'm gonna push it. Oh no, I don't. I thought I did. No, I just move on. Well, that's good. So this section, you want to grab the object. It's hard to see, but there's a trash object right there. I missed it. I'm not even joking. On my first ever playthrough, I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? Then hit the button to put that in there. The only object I could find was this second one. It took me forever to find that first one. So you want to grab this object here and then fall down. Now what I do here, because we're starting, I can talk for a bit, grab the object, run past where you got to place it, then turn around and place it. So this way you don't knock it out, jump over it, get annoyed by it, all that kind of nonsense. It's just there, easy, lemon. Then you want to jump here and you want to push the button in. This will raise the object that we just put fuel into. Then you want to climb up here, wait for the door to open, then climb in. Pull the lever to the right. And now we have another cutscene. Look, a smoke signal. So once this cutscene plays out, you want to head to the left. And then push this button in with your face. I thought it was when you grab something, you're trying to grab it. That will get you a familiar sound, and if you're standing where I'm standing, you will fall immediately down, because that's what opens up after this plays out. As you can see, your boat's falling down. And then see you fall down, so head to your left. And then wait a bit for your boat to get in position, or don't, it's your call. You can jump for it and then just climb up. I wait for it because it's just easier to fall onto your boat. Now this is what we've been saving, and I know I talked about it a lot. This is what we've been saving our repair kits for. See, we're out of items to burn, but we're not out of repair kits. And even if they have one use on them left, it fills it up as a trash item to the maximum amount. And so now we can focus on boosting, using them as fuel, because we're at the last section of the game and we've got nothing else to burn for fuel. For some reason I had a trash item left, don't ask me why, I forgot that was there. So I get to burn an extra item that's trash. Do you want to walk over to the button, and then you want to push it to boost it. This is where I try and get that achievement that I was talking about, because I remembered it, but it didn't pop. So I try setting the mast up, but with this camera angle, the mast is just the worst to try and set up. Because you can't, it's hard to see where to jump to climb onto it. So I'm just like, oh well. Oh no, I did get it. Cool. Cool, cool. Doesn't matter that I got it though, because we're at the end cutscene. This will unlock you 2 achievements if you've been following this guide. One achievement's for doing it in, I think it's 240 minutes. And the other is for meeting a certain character. Arrival. That's for meeting alone and at a rate of knots. Complete the journey in less than 210 minutes. I thought it was 240, sorry, 210. So you want to load the save that I was talking about. This is the one I was talking about. This is the achievement I forgot. And you want to get the engine going. And then you want to climb up here, and you want to get the mast up. You want to pull the sail, and then you want to put the sail so that it's at full speed. Then just leave it. Go back to the furnace and work on the boost. Don't worry if the sail does get off high speed, it'll go back onto it. As you can see, just focus on boosting, getting that boost up. I accidentally knocked the switch because I was trying to put out the fire and drop the switch, and the same button for interacting with the dropping of the hose is the button to interact with the switch. But that's okay. Once you interact with the button, fall down here, go out this entrance, climb up, stand on the top, and that'll unlock on top of the world. King of the world, sorry. For standing at the prow of the vessel while travelling at full speed. Now we can load up and get the miscellaneous achievements. Now you want to head to this save. It's just at the start. This save here. I wasn't sure which one it was, that's why I was looking a little bit, but it's this one here. Load this save. And I'll teach you a little trick, because the achievement we're working on, I'll go into it, is this achievement here, Fuel Guzzler. Your percentage will be different to my percentage, because it depends on how much you've been burning fuel. If you hit this button, it'll go up. You don't actually have to burn the fuel. So, attach everything to the hook, and then hit the button. Don't touch the flower yet. I'm arranging things so that you get 4 achievements in one. Stop when you have a 99% percentage on Fuel Guzzler, because then you'll get 4 achievements in one when we do the setup. I do show both the loading just to show you that it doesn't take too long. But you just hit the switch to burn everything. Once everything's burned, look at the percentage, and it's gone up. It's now at 84%. So I load the save again. It is a little bit annoying to get to the save because it puts you at the last save spot, but as you can see, it's not too far. And then we can hit the button again. So that puts us now at 95. So this last one will be the last stage. We only need to do 5 more items. So we do 4, and then we can set up for the last achievements to all pop pretty much at the same time. So that's 3. So I place 1 object on there, and then the rest of the objects you want to toss out of the ship any way you want. I toss them out through the hatch because it's just quicker. One of them decided to come back in, so I had to re-grab that one, chuck it out. It wouldn't let me climb up then, that's why I was having a bit of trouble. And on the left there, it can be a bit of a hassle to try and climb back in. if you're on the percentage I am and you need 2 more, you'll have to arrange the hooks properly, but throw the repair kit there and basically take the plant and move this object onto the hook here and the plant onto that hook. See, this is how the hooks work. Where that first object is, it'll go in first and then the plant will go in second. That will give me 99 and then 100. Now that's 100% progress and all 4 achievements will pop. You'll get an achievement for burning an object. For the last object on the ship, you'll get an achievement for burning the flower, and you'll get the running on fumes achievement, and you'll get the achievement for getting all the other achievements. It only showed me 3 pops, but there were 4, and that's your 1000 Gs, as you can see here. Thank you for watching.